Outer Frontier. Book 1. The Declaration of War. Epilogue. Neighbors. 3 weeks later, the war ended. Officially, no battles had been fought. No shots had been exchanged. No territory had changed hands. The declaration remained recorded within the archives of the Galactic Union. So did the withdrawal. Future historians would spend centuries debating the shortest war ever declared between two member civilizations. None of them would understand the real reason. The Imperial fleet remained near Bastion 9 long enough to witness the battle. Not all of it, only enough. Enough to understand. Enough to know that every report recovered along the frontier had represented only fragments of a much larger reality. The breach had eventually been sealed. At terrible cost, entire human task forces vanished into the distortion and never returned. Others limped home as shattered wrecks. Replacement fleets departed before the debris had even cooled. The machine never stopped. It could not stop. 6 days after the battle, Admiral Veylor stood once again aboard the Radiant Judgment. This time, however, he was not watching the frontier. He was watching Earth. Blue, white, green, peaceful. At first glance, it looked utterly unremarkable. A world that gave no indication of the burden it had carried for 3 centuries. Governor Solkar had arrived personally. Not as conqueror, not as negotiator, but as a representative of a civilization that had discovered how little it truly knew. The meeting took place inside the Terran Defense Command complex overlooking Lake Geneva. No ceremonial guards, no diplomatic theater, no audience, only a handful of aides, and Fleet Marshal Hayes. The human commander looked older than before. The exhaustion remained. Perhaps it always would. Yet there was relief in his eyes. For the moment, at least, the frontier was holding. For several seconds, no one spoke. Finally, Governor Solkar broke the silence. "I owe you an apology." Hayes smiled faintly. "You don't. We declared war against an ally. You declared war over a border dispute. Those happen." The governor shook his head. "Not like this." Silence returned. Outside the window, civilian aircraft crossed the sky. Far above them, construction lights surrounded orbital shipyards. Even here, humanity was rebuilding. Always rebuilding. Solkar looked directly at the Marshal. "Why?" The human frowned. "Why what? Why did you never tell us?" The question lingered between them. Hayes looked out toward the distant mountains. For a moment, he seemed to be searching for the right words. Then he spoke quietly. "We found them." The governor waited. "They came through our frontier first." Another pause. When we finally understood what they were. He shrugged. There wasn't really a choice anymore. The governor frowned. "You should have informed the Union. We considered it." And Hayes smiled. A tired smile. "The first encounters nearly wiped us out. We assumed the older civilizations already knew." The governor said nothing. Both men understood the implication. The Union had known nothing. Absolutely nothing. Later, Hayes continued, "We realized nobody had ever encountered them." His gaze drifted upward toward the stars. "By then, we'd already committed most of our fleet. Then most of another fleet. And then another." A brief laugh escaped him. After a while, it just became normal. The governor leaned forward. "That was not your burden to carry. For the first time, Hayes appeared genuinely surprised. He considered the statement carefully, then shook his head. Maybe not. Another pause. But it was our frontier. A holographic map appeared above the conference table. The Milky Way. The human territories. The outer frontier. And beyond it, the region that had consumed generations of soldiers, sailors, engineers, and explorers. Hayes pointed toward the inner spiral arms. Hundreds of civilizations glowed there. Thousands of worlds. Trillions of lives. They had no idea what was out there. His finger remained steady. Some still don't. The governor followed the gesture. Neither man spoke for several seconds. Finally, Hayes continued. Somebody had to stand between them. His voice contained no pride, no heroism, only fact. We weren't protecting the Union because we were members. The governor looked at him. Hayes shrugged slightly. We were protecting our neighbors. A faint smile crossed his face. That's what neighbors are supposed to do. The room fell silent. Outside, the afternoon sun reflected from the waters of the lake. Children played in a nearby park. Tourists walked through the city. Ordinary people living ordinary lives, completely unaware of the war being fought at the edge of the galaxy. Exactly as it should be. After a while, the governor spoke again. Was it worth it? The question seemed almost absurd after everything they had witnessed. Yet Hayes answered immediately. He turned toward the window, toward the city, toward the world beyond, toward every world beyond, every child on every planet that has never heard those things. He paused. Is proof that it was. Neither man spoke again for some time. Words seemed unnecessary. Months later, the Illyrian Dominion would commit ships to the outer defensive front. Then other members of the Galactic Union. And then more. The burden would finally be shared. Not because humanity had asked, but because the truth could no longer be ignored. History would remember that the Illyrian Dominion declared the war. History would remember that the war never happened. What history would never fully record was the older war already raging beyond the edge of the maps. The war fought in silence. The war fought in darkness. The war that had lasted 3 centuries. The monsters had entered the galaxy through humanity's frontier. The humans considered that an accident, holding the line afterward. They considered it their responsibility.